All right, here we go. So I'm pulling up ES. This is ES. Let me change the time frame. I put it to the daily. I know you guys saw on Twitter, I was speaking in reference to a vacuum down is due to occur. When? Could be as soon as this week. And it's not on the daily, it's actually on the weekly. But the daily is actually showing the 30 SMA, which the 30 SMA is 20, what is that? 29.55, right? And if I change to the, actually, let's do this. Got a better idea. Nobody listens. I just don't understand. Okay. I don't know. That just doesn't show anything. All right. Got you. All right. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into 2 like this. Perfect. We're going to change this to ES. So I want to give you a daily and weekly visual. I don't want to give you just a daily. I want to give you a daily and a weekly visual. It's the weekly. This is the daily. Just edit this up real quick. I should have put the daily on. Maybe put the daily on this side and then the weekly on the other side. The daily comes before the weekly. Much better. What's interesting is the daily and weekly look exactly similar. And by that, I'm talking about the 14 and 30 SMA. Candle-wise, no. Well, actually, candle-wise, yes. It's just the daily is more locked, is more on an angle as opposed to the weekly is more on the flag, is more of a flag. I want to annotate. This is more of a drawdown. This is actually this more this way. See, if I put it like this, it's more concentrated this way. So we're looking for 29.55, or we're looking for a 30 SMA test. Here we're looking for the 14 SMA test. Doesn't mean it's coming on to 29.18. It's just, this is the weekly, so it's more extended. So 29.55, 38. We need, and I remember what I told you guys, price needs to trade inside, and then it'll find a direction after that, after it does so. So like similar to here, we came out way outside, finally broke that 14 SMA resistance, went straight into that 30 SMA resistance, basically outside of it, and then found a support there, support at the 14 again, support at the 14 again, broke the 14 here. Next up, 430 SMA. So that's what we're looking at. So 30 SMA is gonna be our support. Me, honestly, this can also be an inside, this can be an inside week. That's the crazy part. So here, it can we can form a hammer, which they'll probably drop us down. They can drop us down like what, 60 points. Test that 29.18 or the 14 SMA. That actually is going to change as time goes on during this week with the price. But going into Monday, it's going to be pretty interesting. Gap ups. I'm not going to call it a gap up because we're not even gapping. We're actually trading inside of last week's range or last week's candle. So trading SPY, if you guys are going to trade SPY, individual names, probably get like a small gap up. You want to pay attention to every single thing going into this week. So this is the daily, right? So I'm going to change this to daily. I'm going to change this to 4 hour. Even the 4 hour trading inside. This is going to be pretty interesting this week. I'm just telling you guys that now. Let me see if I can line up this top with this top. Perfect. Nice and clean. It's going to be daily, so it's going to be a couple of days to find out, are we trading above or are we trading below? I'm going to do a quick extension just to see some levels. I'm going to use that level here, then pull back here. 29.63, 25. That gets violated. We have that downside to that 30 SMA support. The thing we don't want to see is a cross. We don't want to see that 14 cross below the 30. We can see them pinch together, but seeing them cross is definitely bearish. As you can see on the 4 hour, it crossed down, became bearish. Came back up with a vacuum, with the 30 continued to reject. It's going to be an interesting week, guys, to be honest with you. I'm thinking short and I'm thinking long, but I'm thinking more on the short side. I want to actually get in position just to catch that big move down if we do get it. Possible head and shoulders. And I'll show you why. I mean, actually, it could be head and shoulders now. Depends on how they do this, to be honest. It can play out in many ways. And this is where it runs into the 6, where I was saying like that between the 8.4 and to 8.8, August 4th to the 8th, we're going to find true direction. If we're going to continue higher or we're going to actually really break down. But we'll get that confirmation soon in the next week and a half. So that's basically the inverted head and shoulders that I'm looking at, if that plays out that way. But this big candle down didn't have much volume in it, which was very interesting. And to be honest, I don't trade ES. I just chart it, and I love how it works with SPY and XPX. I haven't actually touched XPX in, I think it's been almost 2 months. These are levels to watch. At 29.84, if they can hold above that and then get back over 29.98, then the bull case is back. Currently neutral, no bull, no bear. These double bars here, you guys know how they react, but it's actually showing. And the thing is, it's showing, this is what I'm looking at. So we bounced over here, right? This was a previous support level. We found some resistance here, but we took it all the way up to the first blue line, came back for support, took it to the green line, came back to support, took it to the purple line, got a bit out of it, then came down, broke down below blue, came back to green. Test is red, but goes straight down to double bar. See, but it held here. Try to like find support there, but it just broke down. It went straight down to the double bar. Then here found support. Moved back up to the blue, straight through the red level, which was the previous breakout level, which basically was not much there. Not much supply there, but all the supply was around 3,009, which was here. Then they brought it right back down for Friday. Now, the trick here is we have two levels that we need to watch. Main levels. So we're going to be trading inside of those levels. And we'll be trading inside of a level that's considered a range. So when we're trading inside of ranges, we use our retracement instead of extension. So between those two ranges, you're going to go. So let's say I'm focused on 3,921 or 3,925. Oops. So I'm going to click there. I'm going to bring it all the way down to 2963.24. And then when I bring it down, look what happens. It basically lines up with the current action going on. This is why I use extensions and retracements, because retracements, they help you find mid support. They help you find that tiny support that you don't see, that your 14 MA estimate don't tell you. And then you remove them when you're done. Because you never want to have a crowded chart. Never. You can mess around with it. You can bring it down to there, and it hits levels. It's always gonna hit some level. That's how fibs work. Let's get into the nitty gritty, because basically with futures, this is our indication for this week. We can have a big swing tomorrow, like on open. I'm talking about upon open. That 290 or that 14 SMA on the 4 hour, you got to watch that overnight. Let's see what they do with that. I want to see how they push this overnight. But remember, we're in a downtrend right now. We're flagging, not a bear flag. We have a bull flag case happening right now still. And to get out of this bull flag, this level right here, that red level, very important. This is being recorded, so you guys can use this and reference it. Take screenshots if you need to. I definitely don't mind it. But I'm seeing a lot of rejection happening at this 14th of May for this week. So if we reject that, if we even test that and get over it just a little bit, we're gonna take some shorts by 3 days and 6 days. So it's Monday, and let's say by Tuesday, we're still long. We're gonna start either gathering a short position for Friday and for Monday. Because Monday, I think next Monday we're gonna get a nice move to open. This Monday, I don't know how we're gonna open, to be honest. But remember, we're still inside. We have an inside candle from Friday's close. Now we're gonna go to individual stocks right now that I'm gonna be watching. Guys, same stocks we've been trading for the past few weeks. MCK is on my list. They report in 2 weeks. I'm still long. Let me clean this up because it looks very messy. We work on one chart and then we go back to both charts. So this is the 4 hour. It has somewhat of a bear flag, but from me watching the stock this week, bear flags don't mean much at times because of what it's done in the past. For example, get my arrow. We had a bear flag here. Gaps up. Runs all the way up here. Comes all the way down to here. And then runs all the way up to here. Now it's back down to here. But see, the thing is, it has a flag. We can categorize this as a flag. This can be a flag. A clean flag at that. Channeling down. I can use this and hold this into tomorrow because I'm definitely looking to trade this. And if I do trade it, I'm looking to be short in the money. So I'll play the 138.50s. And another thing, I don't know if you guys noticed when I was playing MCK, I traded like, I don't know, but I've been trading it like GWW. You guys notice how it was gapping down and then it comes back with a vengeance? Like, for example, let me see what I can get for you guys. There we go. Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. My thing is, it does very well on hammers. So that's why, like, Monday, I was trading this whole week. Like, I was in the zone, but I was making bad decisions. I took profit. I was green. My bad decision was I was focusing on some other things other than actual trading. And that's why I messed up at. So that's why I had to mentally prepare myself clean. I had to do a mental cleanse this week. And the more I look at this chart, with you guys, and this is why I said no questions. Please don't ask no questions during recording. But the more I look at it, everything gets saved. But the more I look at it, we bounced off. Oops, hold on. That's why I get distracted when I say don't ask questions. All lives on Sundays and Mondays get recorded. We came down to the 30 SMA. This is the daily chart at that. We bounced off of here, right? Formed a hammer. This is actually two hammers. This hammer right here got me. And not in a bad way. Because after I saw this hammer, I was like, you know what, let me see how many hammers this thing puts in. Because what it likes to do, it likes to open up in either inside of the previous day candle, come down, then it just ends of day, ramps up. This day, down. Here, opens down, closes green. Here, this is basically somewhat of inside day, right? Excuse all the arrows. Now, my thing here is this trades very, very well off of fibs. Let me actually put this in full. Let me remove this. And it trades very well off the 14 and 30 SMA. So I'm going to do an extension, right? I'm going to do it from this low here to this high here. Then it pulls back to here. Let's extend that. Perfectly. Everything lines up perfectly. A big demand area is that 145. Well, a supply area. That's a level they just couldn't even keep it above. 3 days in a row. Tested that 145 and just got obliterated. Came right back down. And we saw that in action this whole week. Now, we are stuck in between two channels, 140.63 and 136.07. Now, this is the fun part. Going into Monday, we need to see how we open. So when we do that, we don't just look at the daily chart. We have to look at the 30-minute chart as well. Ooh, what did I just do? Okay. I know what I just did. I think I just changed the thing to the other screen. Yep. Okay. Perfect. I'm gonna put up the 30. I'm gonna put up the 30-minute for this. I look at two charts, the 30 and the 4-hour chart upon open. Because usually sometimes you look at the 4-hour chart, it likes to gap down to it or it likes to test the resistance to it. And by that, I'm talking about 1430 SMA. This is 4-hour from Friday. Looks bearish, right? The bull case for this is I want us to gap down so bad Monday on here because once we gap down, what happens? The 14 crosses below the 30. This is what we need. We need this to cross below here, and we need this little guy channeled out to here. When this happens, price gets below it, then price starts trading inside of it, By come Wednesday, we should already be ready to test near 145. So we got to get that earnings run up going for this one. GWW didn't get the earnings run up, but GWW reports this week as well. And I think I'm going to trade it, but I might trade it post, and I might trade it pre. I might trade it one contract with a small size. So it's going to be a lotto. And all ERs, you guys know, is a lotto. So the bull case for MCK is I actually want the gap down, because what we know, just like GWW, like I told you guys, these type of stocks always fill their gaps. Always. Whether it's the same day, the next day. A gap down and just a little bit more of a push down to, let's look at Wednesday's lows. Let's use Wednesday's low as support. But we're at 136.07 as a better support. We want a gap down and a hammer to form here. So if they do gap this down, let's say around 136, those 140s, we are hoping that they become cheap. Because by Friday, they should be trading somewhat near 139, 140. But my goal is not to get into the 140s. This is about playing safe and playing smart. So if we gap down to 136, the smartest thing to do is trade the 136.50s, 137s, 137.50s, and 138s. But you always want to play one strike out. And if it's in increments of 50 cents, you want to play 50 cents out. So if it's 136, play the 136.50s come Monday. But you guys will see when I get into the trade. And then once that gap fills, my goal is, and if this works the way I want it to, the goal is to get out that position at least 80%. If I have 5 contracts, if I have 4 contracts, if I have 2 contracts, if I have 1 contract, I want to get out that position, to be honest. Using 1 contract is a good way to test any position, any move. That's why I like lotto. Lotto tests the move. I don't just buy lottos and I'm like, oh, maybe the play is going to work out because it looks good. The play, it's the setup I'm looking at. I choose a strike according to the potential it has to hit. And either those 4 hours or those 8 hours of that Friday from open. So that's a 4 hour. So when looking at it, the best charts to look at is the daily, the 4 hour, and the 30 minute. This is a 30 minute. It gaps above, we go short. It gaps below, we go long. And then I'm going to use a retracement inside of this gray. And this, like I said, remember we had those 2 levels. So I said, whatever the price is trading in between. So if the price is trading between 145.19 and 140.63, we're going to do a retracement in there. Price is currently trading within 140.63 and 136.07. Either we go short or we go long. To determine if we go short or go long, we'll put a retracement inside of our extension. Now we have double bars down here. Gray bar is 139.76 here. Support is 138.89. Makes it so simple. And we need that 138.35 to hold down here. Test is at 137.81, which I'm not going to lie, a gap down to open at 137.81 would be beautiful, especially on no volume. 137, I'm taking 138.50's possible size. So if I had $800 and the 137s are like $2, I'm honestly going to take 3 contracts and write it out. $2 on a Monday and you get like a 3-point move, that is an easy 100%. Keep that in mind as well. Also, I'm looking at every single thing. You got GWW still on my list. They report this week. Let me clean this up. Now, to be honest, remember how I felt about URI? I was bullish about the ER. They were going to beat. I was right. But at the end of the day, I was more, as time went on, I became more bearish of the setup as opposed to being more bullish of their setup. I was bullish the ER of them beating, but I was bearish of the chart. It changed because I'm like, you know what? We take a lotto because something's telling me there's going to be a downside. There's going to be a downside. It looked more of a head and shoulders than it did anything else. Now, GWW, I was looking at it Friday, and I didn't mean to look at it, but I did. And I look at levels of support weekly and daily. And I look at levels that I'm like, okay, if they fell on ER, they'll squeeze to here, or they'll break down to here. So I looked at, this is weekly and this is daily, right? So weekly on this side, daily on this side. And what I do sometimes is I look at strikes that I want to play at those levels. And if there's volume in that strike and it's like 100 to 200 traded, and it's a strike that's like out the money, I'm talking 30 points out the money. So somebody's anticipating a 30-point move for GWW this week on the short side, possibly on the long side. But I looked at the short side. I was looking at 238 puts. They're pretty cheap. And I'm going to tell you why I was looking at those. I mean, you guys can probably see it right here. GWW has respected these extensions to the T. Same case for, like we just did with, what was it? MCK. I got to tell you guys about the retracements, putting a retracement inside of an extension. So this is what we have, because this is a weekly and they report. So it does not mean that they're going to beat, and it doesn't mean they're going to fail. We don't know yet. So I put these levels in, right? This is our weekly. My downside was 238.45, so it will probably be a big push here. If they can't get us back over 273 or 272.88, I'd probably short it there, to be honest. I'll probably start taking a short there. This one's going to be patience. They report, I think, Wednesday. So we got to be patient for this one. But I definitely want to short it. But at the same token, it's just it's expecting the unexpected. It's when you think, okay, this is like, it looks so good to be true. Like, dag, I want it to go long. But then the more you look at the long side, the more you're like, okay, it does have a good setup to go short. It's rejected the 14 SMA on the weekly since April 22nd. Now, I'm going to open up the monthly. The month is closing. You got to look at everything. Now, you open up the monthly, you're like, wow, the support on the 30 SMA on the monthly. Now, here goes two cases. This week, they can play us. Because weekly shows we have downside to 238.45, which I'm thinking, call me crazy, anything's possible. I'm thinking, let's say they beat some good China news. We're going to test here, right? We're going to test our 301.93 or our 14 SMA. That'll be a nice big move for this month. Or I'm thinking, let's say they report Wednesday, they come down, gap down to 238, and then they just form a crazy hammer and close right back at 277. I'm just saying that happens because wild swings do happen in this market. And we've seen 5-point gap downs on GWW on no volume. So you have your daily, you have your weekly and your monthly. Now, trading this ER, it's best to look at the monthly because this is the last, I think this is the last month. This is the monthly candle that ends either this week or next week. So you got to pay close attention to that as well. So I got weekly and I got monthly here. And it looks good. It looks good in so many different ways, but you have to make it, you don't want everything to look good. You want it to make it look bad as well, because things don't work out the way we want them to. Right? I can say, oh, you have a falling wedge, right? Falling wedge would be bullish. But this monthly support is it's what gets me. It gets me a lot. Or they squeeze it, or where they fade it. And what's so funny is the distance between the 14 and current price and here, 238.45, and the current price. They're about the exact same distance. And notice it's like a spinning top already formed on the monthly. So we're like indecisive right now. This is all going to be based off of earnings, which is going to be very interesting. So GWW definitely on the list. Another one that we've been trading all last week was Legend. Legend's going to be actually monthlies because they don't offer weeklies. They only offer monthlies. That's why we played them, because monthlies were due last week, monthly strikes, and it was fun. But I'm looking to go long Legend, 115 calls and 110 calls in the money. But I want it to come down to 107.64. I feel like it has more downside. And once that happens, they're going to probably get some news or something. I don't know what it's going to be, but they're going to get something. Because why? Look at the slope. It's like crazy. It's like so steep. 30 SMA has been resistance for so long. Let me actually remove this to clean it up. More clear that way. Perfect. Maybe one more test down. They bring it back. They bring it down. One more. Probably 107, like I said. I'm looking for somewhere around 106, 107. And then August, 115s and 120s down here. Because they have to report, right? So when they report, it's going to be explosive. Okay, this is very tight. When the 14 and 30 SMA trade like this, look how tight it is. 14 is about to cross. Once that price gets above this 30 SMA, which is 119.70 or 120, has some crazy upside here. What else am I watching? I'm watching a lot. I'm watching McDonald's. I don't know why. MCD. So much bulls are on it right now. So many people are bullish on it. I'm also looking at PG. PG is another one. Look at the weekly. I remember it touched that extension that I drew, the top of the extension, and then it faded. Look how clean that was. We got a vacuum coming on that right now too. Keep that in mind. 114 or 115. I'm looking at the 114s for this week. Weekly showing 106. So 2 weeks out, 112s would be nice for 2 weeks out. I mean, if this rises above, this would be a support around here. So like 110. So 112s would be smart. 112 puts. And PG got a gap right here too to fill on the daily. Let me check some of them right now. Sorry guys, I'm just gonna ignore whoever's chatting right now, texting. I'm ignoring you. We're not talking about any other stocks, but what's current right now. All right, so I'm bringing up PG, and I think I already had the strikes I was looking. I was looking at the 114 ports, like I told you guys for this week. They're trading 40 by 46. They should actually open up a little bit cheaper than that. McDonald's looking at 205 puts. I'm going to show you that as well. But we're going to utilize this top here around 116.52. We're going to draw our retracement within this range. So 114.41. That's where our 14 SMA is going to come up to. And then we'll probably break down to somewhere mid-range of 113, possibly by Friday. It's very possible. Last week was a very tight range near the all-time highs. The range was 173. Prior to that was 289. Prior to that was $4. So when something's at an all-time high and the range becomes smaller, it's a good time to start, one, taking profit, two, catching the other side of the trade. Like, you can just use simple vacuums to determine what to buy, what strikes to buy. Vacuums help with time. If you feel like, oh, it can drop tomorrow by Friday, or it can drop by Friday, I'm in these. Still buy yourself time. You never know. And I think McDonald's reports this week. Definitely seeing some downside for that one. That one's like super, super overboard and extended. This is the weekly. I haven't done an extension on this one in a long time. I think I actually cleaned up my extension because it started making new all-time highs. Remember when we called McDonald's 210 this year? It was early in the year. I think it was 205 and 210. Sometimes running extensions on things that are like super extended is like a little bit difficult because you have to go like deep to find a pullback. So I can do something like this. Then I'll do a retracement within the extension, as always, to find out where they had it. See where the double bar is on McDonald's is around 213. That's where our 14 SMA is actually curling up to as well. Keep in mind with a lot of these guys, it could be a good week to short, like I said, and that's what I'm thinking. Or next week could be the week to short. It could be an inside week too. Now I'm going to get to BK and G because I've been watching these 2,000 strikes for August 9th. I've been watching them go up and down. Somebody's been buying one a day. It's been weird. That's why I stay on my list. A lot of these things stay on my list because they move. Sometimes they're ready, sometimes they're not. Every red line you see is when they report. This is when BK and G reports. August 7th, I have. As long as BK and G stays over 1860. If market goes down and BK and G goes up, you got to pay attention to that too as well. Keep that in mind. Because BK and G did really well for a pullback that we had this week. You would have thought it would have sold off on that pullback, but it didn't. This one's an interesting one. Hasn't traded this one in a while. We're going to use weekly as well. I don't know. This one looks bullish. Call me crazy. Something about a red hammer followed by basically you can call this a doji, spinning top, whatever you want. Double bottomed off of the 1860 level. I just hope. I mean, to be honest, I might trade BKNG this week. I mean, that's a risky one to play. It's pretty interesting. And I had this on radar, and we actually talked about it about a week or two back when I actually put it on radar last Sunday. I definitely want to watch this, though. I like it a lot. It's going to be good. It's definitely going to be really good. Kishore, stop texting. Thank you, please. I'm going to repeat that again. Do not text during the live, please. It's a distraction. We traded BKNG. We know how it trades. We know about the big gains.